should know. I have never really liked you at all. I cannot hide it anymore. I've been thinking about the future, trying to forget about the past. So many ways that I could change for the better. Don't even know where to begin. If I allow myself to dream, will it be as good as it seems? Pull me out of this place in the middle, in the middle. Nothing more to embrace in the middle, in the middle. If I try to climb up the wall, everyone can see when I fall. Take me up into the mountains, send me up into the wild. Misery is still a path I would choose if the alternatives are worse. I guess it's time to find a friend, one who will stick by to the end. Going out of my mind in the middle, in the middle. Wasting all of my time in the middle, in the middle. I take the vibe and spit it out, unaware of what it's about. I'm not that good at faking it. I feel somehow I've broken it. I don't believe I'm part of it. In the If I try to climb up the wall, everyone can see when I fall. Nothing really matters at all. Pull me out of this place in the middle, in the middle. Nothing more to embrace in the middle, in the middle.
This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
Hey y'all, there we are. Hey y'all, I didn't do the missing kids video because I still haven't fixed it, but I just set me an alarm for tonight to make sure I get that fixed. It's good to see you. I'm so glad you're here with us today. Good morning, Miss King of Anything, Bad Girl, Lori Green, Southern Cats, Amanda, Miss Kimmy Akers, Orange, Rose, Cara, my lovely Cara, Sam, Jenny Jen, Fawny Dawny. Good to see you. I'm so glad y'all are here today. Irene, Roxanne, it's good to see you. Old one, good to see you. Cindy from South Florida, good to see you. Boomer, Abellis, good to see y'all. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up on your way in. So, first, I want to tell y'all some information that I came across last night. Let me get my email pulled up and then we'll talk about Sebastian. Hold on just a minute. I need to go to. Mm, hold on. Yes. Okay. Now let me pull this up where y'all can see it. Okay. Hey, LJ. Hey, Genevieve. Good to see you, sweet Melissa. Good to see you. So, y'all remember the girl that's on the thumbnail? The girl that basically snitched and testified against Epstein, Virginia, the one who slept with, or who was abused by Prince Charles, right? Well, evidently she self deleted, okay? And from the rumor is that she left notes and things saying that she would absolutely 100% never do that. Um, I don't believe that she did. I think somebody came through, especially considering that she was sleeping with the prince at one point and she told on him. I think somebody came through and did something. Hey, Julie. Good to see you. Right. That's where I'm at with it. I'm like, no, ma'am.
Get a bullshit, a bullshit, a bullshit, a bullshit.
That woman didn't do that to herself. I'm sorry, just like Epstein didn't do that to himself. So we're going to read it and see what it says. It says Virginia Giuffre, who accused the late Jeffrey Epstein of sexually trafficking her as a teenager, died by self deletion at age 41 on Thursday. Her family announced it on Friday. While her death was described as a self deletion, the specific method used remains unknown. Her death is not being considered suspicious so far, Australian authority. Oh my goodness, Australian authorities said. This is a quote. Quote, it is with utterly broken hearts that we announce that Virginia passed away last night at her farm in Western Australia. Unquote. Her family said in a statement, quote, she lost her life to self-deletion after being a lifelong victim of sexual abuse and sex trafficking. Unquote. Quote, Virginia was a fierce warrior in the fight against sexual abuse and sex trafficking. She was the light that lifted so many survivors, unquote, they added. And, quote, in the end, the toll of abuse is so heavy that it became unbearable for Virginia to handle its weight, unquote. NBC News was one of the first to report Giuffre's death after receiving the family's statement. In September of 2019, NBC Savannah Guthrie formally interviewed Giuffre and 5 other women who levied sexual assault allegations against Epstein. Giuffre was one of the most outspoken accusers of Epstein and his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, who remains in prison for sexually exploiting and abusing female minors with the disgraced financier for over a decade. The prominent sexual abuse survivor first sued Epstein in 2009 as an anonymous Jane Doe, alleging that she was caught in a sex trafficking operation between 1999 and 2002. The civil lawsuit was later settled for $500,000. Giuffre was the first accuser to go public, inspiring other victims to come forward. In 2015, Giuffre filed a defamation lawsuit against Maxwell. The case was settled 2 years later for an undisclosed sum. Let me see what y'all are saying. Do y'all think that she did this? Proof of ineptness in Whistleblower Act. Hey here, Sandra. Good to see you. Do y'all think she did this, y'all? She's been bumped off or made to. Yeah. Doesn't know my ass. Yeah, I don't think that she did this. From what I've heard, she left notes and like well documented documents stating that she would never ever do this. Okay. So in 2021, Giuffre alleged in a separate civil lawsuit she was forced to have sex with Prince Andrew in several encounters when she was 16 and 17. Prince Andrew denied the allegations but relinquished his military titles and royal progenies I think that's what that word is. In 2002, after a U.S. judge allowed the case to proceed to trial, the suit was ultimately settled with the British royal agreeing to pay the plaintiff an undisclosed amount. Epstein died by an apparent unaliving bullshit in his Manhattan jail cell in August 2019 before his trial on federal sex trafficking charges could begin. He reportedly hung himself. I'm going to tell y'all right now, Epstein knew a lot of shit, just like P. Diddy does. I really, honestly, like, with every fiber of my being, believe that Epstein is alive and that that was somebody that looked like him, like a body double. They have them. I mean, you can look up and see body doubles of like singers and things like that. Okay. If we can look up and see body doubles of Britney Spears, Rihanna, Taylor Swift has body double. You can literally look it up and see that they have a body double. If they have body doubles, you think this man who has all this dirt on all these people that are high up in power doesn't have a body double? You're out your damn mind. That man had a body double, and that's who died in that jail cell. Jeffrey Epstein is somewhere off the coast of Italy living his best life. I can almost guarantee it. And somebody went and got that girl. I'm telling y'all now. I'm telling y'all now. Hey, Edith. I believe he's alive too. And see, I'm not the only one. And considering that she came out against the British royal family, I'm wondering if MI6 finally got her. Because, like we just read, if he had to relinquish his military titles and royal progenies in 2002 after a U.S. judge allowed the case to proceed to trial, I'm sure he was mighty hurt about that. And of course, they're not going to do anything when everything's in the media and out here on Front Street. But yeah, they're coming later. And I think they got her. Jean-Luc Brunel, a French modeling agent against whom Giuffre testified, also hung himself in his prison. Oh, bullshit. So Jean Brunel, a French modeling agent against whom Giuffre testified, also hung himself in his Paris prison cell in February of 2022. Okay, well, they took him out too, in my humble opinion. News on Giuffre's suicide arrived 1 month after she revealed on Instagram a school bus hit her. Okay, see, stop it. Let me read this again. News of Giuffre's suicide arrived 1 month after she revealed on Instagram a school bus hit her car and sent her to the hospital. Treated for kidney renal failure, Giuffre claimed she had, quote, 4 days to live, unquote. She ended up living another 4 weeks. The bus driver involved in the accident said Giuffre was exaggerating the severity of the incident when she claimed the bus was being driven at nearly 70 miles per hour. She reportedly sat in the passenger seat at the time of the crash. Okay, no, we're about to look into this because I want to know, was there children on the bus? Because if there wasn't, I believe 100% that the bus was going 70 miles per hour and it was there to hit her. It was paid to hit her. And then she's got kidney failure now. No. Hey, Exquisite and Indy, good to see you. Lots of people believe the royals or certain ones got Princess Diana bumped off. I believe they did that too. I do too. Yep. Amanda's sending the train to pick up my... Oh! Thank you for that, because I didn't even see it. Amanda, thank you so much for gifting 5 Speculation Station memberships. I apologize. When I'm reading, I'm on a different page. It's not like it used to be where I could see like everything together. So I was not able to see that, but that was so very sweet and supportive of you. And I really appreciate that so very much. And I'm going to see if I can see who those went to. I don't know. Yep. So those went to Shawshank's Redemption, Helen B., Calypson Vixen, Diana Doe 420, and Emily. If you were gifted from Amanda and you are aware you were gifted, please tell Amanda thank you, and I will pick y'all up on the crazy train headed to Speculation Station. I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. Thank you so much, Amanda. If I'm too loud for y'all, let me know because I can turn it down. I never know how loud I am. I don't go back and watch after we get done with our lives. That was so sweet, Amanda. Thank you so much. Aw, I appreciate you. But like you said a minute ago, Royals plus Hollywood get people offed all the time. It says Giuffre left behind her 3 young children at her home in Perth, Australia. See, she didn't do that to herself. She absolutely did not. Not leaving behind children and everything. She recently split with her husband after 22 years of marriage, according to reports. A week after her car accident, Giuffre claimed she was abused by her longtime husband, who allegedly violated a family violence restraining order in February. An old tweet in Guffrey's an old tweet oh my gosh, an old tweet of Guffrey's resurfaced in the wake of her death. In December of 2019, she denied that she was suicidal. Quote, I am making it publicly known that in no way, shape, or form am I suicidal, unquote, she wrote at the time. Quote, I have made this known to my therapist and GP, which would be general practitioner. If something happens to me in the sake of my family, do not let this go away and help me to protect them. Too many evil people too many evil people want to see me quieted. All right, so let's see what we can find about the school bus hitting Virginia real quick. I'm gonna pull up YouTube and see what we can find on YouTube real quick. So I got my playlist pulled up. Gee. Okay, so we've got this clip from The Sun.
Prince Andrew's accuser.
So this is from The Sun. Please give them a like and subscribe. We're going to see what they said. And this is from 4 weeks ago. Let me make sure y'all can see it. Yep, you can. Okay. Hey, Glitter is forever. Good to see you, love. We got a lot to talk about today.
Prince Andrew's accuser, Virginia Giuffre, says she has been given just days to live after a car crash. The 41-year-old, who was sex trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein, shared this shocking photograph of herself from a hospital bed covered in bruises. In the Instagram post, she claimed to be suffering from kidney failure and was ready to go. She also begged to see her children one last time.
Now, that makes me concerned about maybe she did do it, considering that she was going to possibly pass away anyway. But then for them to tell her that she had 4 days to live and she lived for 4 more weeks, I mean, I would think she would have kept going, especially considering how much she had put up a fight her whole life and for so long about all of these things. I would think she would fight to the end. Indy said, just like Princess Diana and Epstein. Right, Cara. What did Cara say? Cara always be dropping some knowledge. Oh, Shawshank, thank you for saying thank you. Kidney failure is from poisoning. Yeah, it can be, but if her kidney got hit and like obliterated, depending on how she got hit, maybe that would be why. But I would think maybe she could get a transplant and still live her life with her children.
She said, they've given me 4 days to live, transferring me to a specialist hospital in urology. This year has been the worst start to a new year, but I won't bore anyone with the details. She went on to say, but I think it's important to note that when a school bus driver comes at you driving 110 kilometers an hour, as we were slowing down for a turn, that no matter what your car is made of, it might as well be a tin can.
Why is the bus going 110 kilometers per hour? That doesn't make any damn sense. That would be 70 miles per hour here, per what the article said. And the school buses here, I see them on the damn highway when I have to go to Raleigh all the time. They don't go above 55 or 60. That's as fast as they go. They'll be on the slow lane in the damn on the damn 4-lane highways going 60. That don't even make sense. That was damn a hit, I'm telling you. Hey, Vegan, good to see you. Vegan said she posted if anything happened to her, it would not be suicide. Princess Diana said in an interview she was worried the royal family would have her killed in a car accident. Yep. We just read where she posted she wouldn't do that to herself in 2019. Cindy from sunny South Florida said, my daughter has a kidney disorder, and many times she had talked about wanting to give up, as she has 4 children. Well, tell her not to do that. Her children need her. And she's a very strong person for dealing with that. And I'm sorry that you or her is having to deal with that. And my heart goes out to you. But she's a very strong person. She don't need to do that. Hey, AM. Hey, Anders. Okay, Shawshanks. Good to see you, love. Did she hurt her kidneys in the crash? Evidently. Right, barely 50. Salty GG DGAF? I don't know. Good to see you, love. Barely 50. I was reading to see what you were going. So barely 50 miles per hour. Did I have it wrong? Let's see. Hold on. We could do it this way. No, it's kilometers. Kilomet. That's probably misspelled. It said 70, 68.35 miles an hour. Yeah, the article had said 70, so. Okay, now let's ask the other question. Can a school bus, I've got nails on, I'm going to end up taking them off before this live is over. Can a school legally take your phone? Them kids been asking the damn wrong questions. They better get off here talking about them teachers taking the phones. They need to put them up. Can a school bus go kilometers per hour? Most school buses have a top speed limit of around 65 to 70, so 105 to 130. But going around the turn, and then it says, although their typical cruising speed is lower, ranging from 45 to 55 or 72 to 89 kilometers per hour, federal guidelines mandate a maximum speed of 55 miles per hour for school buses traversing highways and across state lines. So it was going as fast as it possibly could around the curve that she was slowing down to turn into. I'm not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't think so. For a damn minute. I really don't. Right. Mom's about to make that Google search. Her husband apparently beat the shit out of her too. Damn. Buses around here only go 50. Right. There's dialysis too, but might not work with total kidney failure. Right, but I would think she could get a transplant or something. Especially since she had littles, you know.
She ended the Instagram post by thanking her followers for being a great part of her life. Virginia's father, Sky Roberts, commented on the post and said, "Virginia, my daughter, I love you. I'm praying you get the correct treatment to live a long and healthy life. If there is anything in the world I can do to help you, please let me know. My spirit is with you now and holding your hand." Virginia recently separated from her husband, Robert, and claims she is now estranged from their 3 teenage children. She has been a campaigner for victims.
So she was estranged from the children. Damn. I would think, though, you could get a transplant. I mean, there's a lot going on in her life. I mean, I can say that, but I still don't think she would do this. And I mean, look at everything she had accomplished in her life. Did she need I mean, she posted it on Instagram, so I'm sure she got a lot of support saying, you know, you've done a lot of wonderful things. Please don't, I mean, you can get through this, you know.
Of sexual abuse after accusing Prince Andrew of sexually abusing her when she was 17 while she travelled with Andrew's pals Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. 3 years ago, the disgraced Duke paid millions to Virginia in an out-of-court settlement while denying sexual assault accusations. Andrew was then spared a humiliating court battle over claims he sexually assaulted her when she was a teenager. The settlement marked the first time he had shown contrition over his relationship with Epstein and Maxwell.
All right. Genevieve said, unfortunately, a transplant is not always an option if immune system or circulatory system is compromised. What exactly did she hit, or did the bus roll over? Well, the bus evidently hit her. Hey, Joy, coming around a curb that she was slowing around. She was slowing down to turn, and the bus evidently hit her going as fast as it possibly could. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm not. I don't. Okay, so let me do this. I'm going to drop the link to a very good friend of our channel who has the segment. Sorry, I was trying to walking and chewing gum and all. I was trying to grab the link. So a very good friend of our channel was able to get this segment on Sebastian Rogers from America's Most Wanted last night. So I am dropping their link. I'm going to pin it to the top. If you guys want to watch it without commentary, you can do it there. Please go give them a like and subscribe. Like I said, they are a very good friend of our channel. We love them very much. And so let's go watch the segment on Sebastian Rogers from last night. Pulling up the playlist now that has that in it. Okay, hold on just a minute. Now, let me preface this video with this statement. We are not going to talk bad about any parents, anybody. We're going to watch the America's Most Wanted news segment. We're going to take in the information and we're going to see what it says. I don't want to hear anything negative about Chris, about Katie, about Seth, about the Bauer Sox, about the other ones, the Rogers, the state of Oregon, the country of Mexico. Like, I don't want to hear nothing negative, okay? Thank you so much. Cindy said, I'm not saying she did or didn't. I say trauma, mental and physical, can cause even the strongest people to do things out of character. I agree with that. Hearing that she had all of that going on makes me question it a little bit, but I don't think she would do it. I mean, and even if she was thinking about doing it, I would think somebody would say, you know, you're such a strong person. Look at everything you've done. Look at everything you've accomplished. Don't stop now. I mean, just because your children don't want to talk to you right now, the wounds are still fresh. That doesn't mean they wouldn't have talked to you later. Anders said, I'm an organ donor and I think my kidneys are in good shape, but they will have to wait until I die before I donate them. Yes, don't donate your kidneys right now. When your life takes a dramatic, Miss Kimmy said, when your life takes a dramatic turn, the mental grief of who you were changes your thoughts. I can get that. Thank you, Joy. Cara said, as someone who is immunocompromised, and my mother-in-law is immunocompromised, she is on the transplant list for a new liver. So it is possible if you're immunocompromised. Thank you. And then Fawny said, oh, weird. I thought Kim has crashed on a bend. AI said it was a straightaway. What? She said it said that she was turning. I don't know. We'll have to look at it again. Everything surrounding Epstein is suspicious. Yeah, Lori, that's exactly why I don't usually cover Sebastian, because it's just a circus it's just so that's why I said we're not talking crap about anybody. We're going to watch the segment again. Please go give Rocky JayJ. Yeah, Rocky JayJ. Oh, I was about to say I better be subscribed. Go give them a like and subscribe, and we're going to see Sebastian Rogers' story on America's Most Wanted last night. Thank you, Rocky JayJ.
Thank you so very much, everyone, for joining us. Let's get to our first case now. A missing child, Sebastian Rogers. On February 25th, 2024, Sebastian's mother said goodnight to her 15-year-old son. The next morning, Sebastian was gone.
I think missing juvenile. Be a white male, really blonde hair, approximately 5 foot, 120 pounds. I was going to be wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants. Juvenile does have a form of autism.
10-4 now.
Sebastian is tall and skinny, has a...
Look at him. That looks like he's on the ocean, too. I like that picture. It looks like an ocean boat where he was fishing. I don't know. It looks like a big boat, you know, like a, what are that? Like a ferry. That's what I was thinking.
Contagious smile, loves video games, loves cats.
Boundless amounts of energy.
Aw.
Sebastian reminds me of a deer prancing through the woods, you know, enjoying the smell, the breeze, new things. That's my son.
February 25th, the day before Sebastian went missing, Chris was in Memphis at work. So Sebastian and I went to Texas Roadhouse. After dinner, right around 9 o'clock, he laid down. I heard a noise in his room. I said, I don't care what you're doing, but you gotta knock it off and you gotta go to bed. And he answered, you know, yes, ma'am. And I said, okay. And that was the last time that I spoke with Sebastian.
I could see a lot. Like, she looks just like him, especially in the eyes. Katie, the eyes look just like Sebastian. He looks a lot like Seth, too.
Spoke with Sebastian. The next morning, when I went in his room, he wasn't in his bed. After a minute or two, when I couldn't find him, I called Chris and I said, I can't find Sebastian. He's not in the house.
I got off of work and I had a text message from Sebastian's stepfather.
I said, hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but Sebastian's missing.
I headed straight over to their house.
I started driving through the neighborhood. I was panicking. I was looking everywhere. Like, where is he? What happened? Did he go with someone? Did someone take him? By the time I pulled into the school, Christopher was already telling me to turn around because the authorities were on their way.
They used helicopters, they used drones, they used ATVs, horseback.
An extensive search didn't yield one significant lead or even a glimpse of the boy on any doorbell cam video. Days later, investigators combed through a landfill, still saying they had found nothing.
We have nothing. We just have speculations. We get criticized, the father gets criticized, law enforcement's been criticized.
Online sleuths are really analyzing videos and creating their own theories.
I will say that I understand being very speculative of the parents, of law enforcement and all of that. I don't, what irritates me is, like I've said probably 500 times over here, we can tell if Islamic terrorist or somebody, a terrorist in general, I didn't mean to say Islamic, just terrorist in general, has a pimple on his butt, but we can't find these children. That irritates me. But other than that, I honestly don't think that anybody, especially the parents, had anything to do with this, because I think if they did, that they would be arrested by now, especially with how much publicity this case has. I think if they legitimately knew what happened or had a lead or suspicion, somebody would be arrested. I don't know what happened, and we won't know what happened until he's found, but it irritates me that we can see all these things through the FBI and our military, but we can't find him. That irritates the shit out of me.
Sebastian is putting something in his pocket.
Surveillance footage from a neighbor shows two people outside of Sebastian's house that night. Something happened.
Tonight marks 1 year since Sebastian Rogers disappeared near Beach High School in Sumner County.
My life is not the same without my son. He's not here, and he's somewhere. Someone has him.
This year has been the worst nightmare I could have imagined come alive.
Just wants whoever has him, just give him back. It's my son.
Wow, that dad. You can feel it. So we want to talk about theories now, Payne, and what might have happened with Sebastian. What are your thoughts?
I mean, here's his house.
Okay, we're going to wait just a minute on the theories. I know that was emotionally tolling, and yeah. That was sad. Um, I hope they find him. I really do. Hey, Abellis, it's good to see you, my love. Genevieve said, very irritating, and DAs refuse to process arrest warrants, creating a baseline foundation for in-depth investigation and forcing those with evidence against them to prove their innocence in the case. Yeah, again, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know exactly what you're saying there, but I don't think the parents had anything to do with it. Considering that he supposedly left the house with no shoes on, I mean, again, I think I've said this before over here too. I think about where would I be going with no shoes on? Well, out to the truck to get a charger for my phone. So replace an adult with a child. Where would a child be going with no shoes on? Outside to grab something maybe from somebody he met online. I'm wondering if somebody he met online said, "Hey, I'll give you this, amazing, wonderful thing, this Minecraft code, this collector's Pokemon. I don't know, something that piqued his interest, right?" And so he's running outside, and then he's like, "Oh, you'll give it to me?" And they're like, "Yeah, I'll give it to you. Just come outside real quick." And so he runs outside thinking he's just going to go grab something from somebody, and somebody grabbed him. That is honestly what I think happened. And I don't think that the parents had anything to do with it. Yeah, that's another thing, Punk Banjo. If he went to that construction site, it would be impossible to find him. It could be the landfill. I think they just now found Quentin Simon's body in the landfill after how many years? So, okay, now we're going to talk theories. Again, thank you, Rocky JayJ. If you guys have not subscribed to them, please do so.
They searched miles outside of that neighborhood for days. Helicopters on the ground. They even drained a lake. He's nowhere. I don't think Sebastian would have gone outside on his own. There's someone else involved here. Somebody who was familiar to him, but a stranger to everyone else.
We also have to consider he could have left on his own volition. We know children on the autism spectrum tend to wander. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, nearly half of all children on the autism spectrum will go missing at some point from their environment.
Wow.
Abellis and Any Girl, it's good to see y'all so much. It's good to see y'all, and I'm so glad you're here. I'm sorry.
Oh. But I think something caused him to flee his home. Was that into the open arms of a predator? Or was there a roaming predator that just happened to see Sebastian walking down through the neighborhood?
And to me, one thing that stands out is his shoes. He always wore his shoes, according to his mom.
Yeah. She shared a story that as a younger boy, he walked through a pile of dirt, turned out to be a bed of fire ants, and he had a thing about always wearing his socks and shoes. I can't think that a 15-year-old child would get up in the middle of the night and leave without his shoes in February. It's cold. So for me, that says that someone has come and taken him, or someone else is involved. Someone knows something. And as easy as it is to be like, oh, that could never happen, like your bedroom is the safest place in the world.
Abellis, oh my God. Thank you so much for gifting 50 Speculation Station memberships. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. I damn sure cannot read out all of the names that those went to, but if you were gifted a membership from Abellis, please tell Abellis thank you. Oh my goodness. Abellis dropping 50. Goodness gracious. Thank you, sweetheart. I saw you said that you were happy. What made you so happy today? That was so sweet. My goodness. 50. That is amazing. Thank you so very much, Abellis. That was so sweet of you. I'm going to grab the Polar Express to pick y'all up on the way to Speculation Station. If you were gifted, please tell Abellis thank you, because that was amazing. Thank you so very much, Abellis. Katia, good to see you, my love. has been a member for 3 months. Thank you so much for being a member of our family and of our speculation station for 3 months. She said, wow, 3 months. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for being a member for 3 months. And Southern Cats has been a member for 2 months. Thank you so much for sharing your milestones with us. And I appreciate y'all being members. That's so awesome. Hey, a name here. Democracy won in my country. That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that, love. Oh, you are so happy about it. Yeah, you'll have to you'll have to let us know in Discord what's going on. Hyo, thank you so much for sending a super chat. I really appreciate that. She said, love your faces. I've missed y'all. I've missed you too. I know you've had a lot going on lately. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. That was so sweet of you. Thank y'all. That was awesome. Y'all sharing all the things today, making me so happy.
Well, no. Bedrooms are not the safest place in the world. I was taken from my bedroom. It can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
So when you consider what you just said, Elizabeth, and according to Katie,
So that's Elizabeth Smart, I suppose, and that's very interesting. I didn't know she was on here. I think I heard something about it, but didn't realize.
night, she goes to bed, he goes to bed, then around 10 p.m., there's a bump or a thud. She calls out to him. He says, I'm fine. Yes, ma'am. I'll stop moving. And then that's the end of it. And according to her, when she went to bed, the doors were locked. And when she woke up, the doors were locked. Were the windows locked? That's a big question. Were they secure? Because if they weren't, it could mean one of two things. That thud, him responding, was someone else in there with him?
Or someone was with him and going.
Exactly.
So I do want to bring up this home security camera footage. This looks like foot traffic right in here.
Yeah, if you look at the footage here, you can see subject number 1, allegedly, right? It looks like something that's illuminated, which, by the way, we haven't mentioned it yet. According to Katie, there was a flashlight that Sebastian liked using that was missing. So you consider that, it does look like two people holding flashlights.
Yes, that paints a picture that is foul play.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's concerning. It does look like two people holding flashlights. We did go over that video. Someone said somebody was walking a dog. I don't know. I don't believe it. It looks like somebody runs across that footage. I think there's something to that footage, but that's just me personally. Hey, Teresa. Good to see you, love. Thank you for being here.
So I want to help the public now. We want to find Sebastian. What do you say to people, Elizabeth?
First of all, to the 16-year-olds of the country, the high school age, really, if you know someone who looks like Sebastian, if you know something about Sebastian, tell your parents, call into the show, call the police, report it. This might be the break that we need. To the parents, if you have seen a 16-year-old boy that looks like Sebastian, do not be afraid to pick up the phone and call.
There is a $50,000 reward to help find him. Sebastian Rogers was about 5'5" when he was last seen, and he wears glasses. Sebastian is not comfortable with strangers.
If you're someone from this small town and you're in this neighborhood, check your cameras. There might be someone sitting on some doorbell cameras footage. I bet you he's in this small town in Tennessee.
Wow, that's an interesting theory.
But this isn't the most rural area in the world. We're not talking about out in the Rocky Mountains. This is a neighborhood
There's
where
a highway going this way.
There's high foot traffic everywhere, and still no sign of him.
Wow.
That's what's weird to me with this. It's not, Summer Wells was in a very rural community. Sebastian was not. There is a lot of foot traffic there, yet he was picked up on no cameras except for what we see could possibly be him with the flashlights that they were just discussing.
Thank you to our team of experts. And you all know our purpose is to examine these cases and give people watching information so they can bring the missing home.
Okay, so that was again for Rocky JayJ. Again, they are a very good friend of the channel, so definitely check them out. They are pinned at the top of the chat box. I think I didn't put them in the description yet, so I have to do that. Okay, now we're going to talk about, what was I going to talk about? Oh, okay, so we'll do Miss Thing. So there was a girl named Alicia Navarro who had been missing for a while. She turned 18 and she walked into a police station and said, please take me off the missing person list. We're going to listen to this story because there's some new information out on that.
I would like to tell you that.
somewhat new. Y'all might have heard about it. I don't know. So this is kind of the story of Alicia Navarro from Fox 10. If you have not subscribed to them, please do so.
I would like to tell you that Alicia Navarro has been located. She is, by all accounts, safe. She is, by all accounts, healthy. And she is, by all accounts, happy.
Incredible. In a stunning announcement by Glendale Police almost 4 years after she went missing, Alicia Navarro has been found alive and well. Thanks for joining us. First at 9, a Fox 10 News alert. A Glendale teenager who left home in the middle of the night in September of 2019 has been found alive.
And I just pinned the link to this channel at the top. Please give them a like and subscribe. Yeah, we did say happy birthday to your grandma yesterday.
Today, police there in Glendale announcing the now 18-year-old Alicia Navarro was found safe and seemingly healthy in Montana. Fox 10's Stephanie Bennett joins us live tonight with details on this remarkable update. Steph.
John and Christina, good evening. Yeah, this is kind of the start of the new investigation to kind of figure out what she was doing during that time. But at least for now, it's great news for family, obviously, who have been working tirelessly trying to find her. And also the Glendale Police Department here, who have been going through hundreds, if not thousands of leads into this case, trying to figure out where she went. But again, details are still very limited. As you mentioned, we know that she went missing in 2019 at the age of 14. Fast forward to this week, she was found near the Canadian border in Montana, age 18, almost 19. But again, what she was doing during those almost 4 years remains a mystery, at least for now.
Did anybody hurt you in any way?
No one hurt me.
Okay, because, our goal is we just want to make sure that you're safe.
That's 18-year-old Alicia Navarro speaking via video call with detectives. It's the first images of Alicia since she went missing from her Glendale home in 2019.
Thank you for offering help to me.
Yes, ma'am. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Her mother, Jessica Nunez,
So, I mean, that's, I do have hope because things like that happen, right? I mean, this girl had been missing from the age of 14, and then when she's almost 19, walks in and says, hey, I'm alive, I'm here, take me off the list, and basically leave me alone. Some people just want to be left alone. I wish she would talk to her family if she hasn't yet, but, it is what it is, but at least she was found and she's not deceased.
posting to Facebook, expressing her gratitude and relief that her daughter has finally been found safe.
For everyone who has missing loved ones, I want you to use this case as an example that miracles do exist and never lose hope and always fight.
It all began in the early morning hours of September 15th, 2019. The then 14-year-old Alicia left a note for her sleeping parents before she vanished. She was considered a runaway and at the time was described as a high-functioning autistic teenager and had not been heard from until this week in a small town in Montana, 40 miles south of the Canadian border.
She showed up to a police department. She identified herself as Alicia Navarro, and she basically asked for help to clear her off of a missing juvenile list. She, by all accounts, went on her own free will. She is not in any kind of trouble. She's not facing any kind of charges. She is not being held anywhere. She is coming and going at her own free will, and she has been extremely cooperative with not only our folks, but our federal partners as well.
In the last almost 4 years, Glendale police say they've been working tirelessly to track her down. They say she was found healthy and happy, and that she wants to move on with her life.
This case is far from over. We do have the resolution that we have located Alicia, but there's still a lot of questions that will still need to be answered.
We can only imagine what she's going through, mentally, emotionally, as well as her family. And as much as we'd like to say this is the end, we know this is probably only the beginning of where this investigation will go.
Yeah, and as you just heard, I mean, detectives now have to take all those puzzle pieces and kind of put them together exactly, how she got to Montana in the first place, who was she with all of this time, where was she staying, still a lot of information that we need to get. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, Steph, thank you. Those who knew Alicia also really
So, I mean, sometimes they do come back, and I'm praying that that's what happens with a lot of these children.
From this unexpected news, this was a shocker today. Lauren Clark joins us live with more tonight. Lauren.
Yeah, John and Christina, I spoke to neighbors, and the word that many of them used was relieved. They cannot believe this has finally come to a close nearly 4 years later. Now, many neighbors didn't want to go on camera, but expressed joy over the fact that she has been found. And even though Alicia has been 4 years away from this neighborhood, they say they still feel the impact of her disappearance.
Just ecstatic.
For neighbor Dale Leash,
I never gave up hope.
today is the product of nearly 4 years of prayer.
So grateful to God that she's been found safe.
His former neighbor, then 14-year-old Alicia Navarro, found after going missing in 2019. Neighbors on the Glendale block described the teen as quiet and to herself.
She was extremely shy.
But because of that, Dale says he never knew her too well, but did come to know her mom, Jessica, even helping her with efforts to find Alicia.
I probably printed 300 flyers for her.
Neighbors told Fox 10 Alicia's disappearance rattled them. One man even said from that day on, they never let his little sister walk to school alone.
There's not a lot of children but those that did have children were just terrified that it might happen to their kids.
Not all the details about what happened or why are known, but Dale says today he's profoundly grateful and shared this message for his friend Jessica.
I would hug her and say, it's a wonderful day. Thanks God.
Oh, he was getting emotional on that. I mean, yeah, thank God that she was okay. She was a Madeline Soto who got away, allegedly. That's sad. At least she got away, though.
And many neighbors today also wanting to share their love for Jessica, a mother who has spent so many countless nights and months trying to search for her daughter, whether that's organizing posters, speaking to media, or even doing social media outreach to try to share her story. Reporting live here in Glendale, Lauren Clark, Fox.
So she never gave up. I would say that I'm sure when a child goes missing from a home, right, everything is investigated, all the allegations, all of the things. So I would say, I mean, I would truly believe if something like that was going on when this child left, that somebody would have been arrested, because I would think it would be found out. Okay, so this is the update. And we're going to look at a Reddit post after this. A
Montana man who's been...
I think this is an update from 2 months ago. If this doesn't say what I'm referencing specifically, we'll go to the Reddit post. We're going to go there anyway. But we're going to listen to this update. It is a connection to Alicia Navarro. Stephanie, I want them to find Sebastian too. I really do. I don't know, Shawshanks. I mean, you know... I don't know. I wish he would just, if he's able to come home, I would think that he would, but I don't know. I don't want to talk about parents or anything. Honestly, I don't think that helps the case at all. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to sit here and bash any parent of any missing child ever for anything. I'm just not. I can't. I don't have the heart to do it. If my child was missing, God only knows. I probably wouldn't even be able to function. I would probably just be in the bed crying. Any of my children, my bonus children, my biological children, it does not matter. Bashing the parents is not going to help us find him. I'm about what can we do to find him. That's it. That's all. And so that's why I don't want anybody to talk bad about any parents. We don't know what happened in any household because we weren't there and we didn't see. You know what I mean? Okay, so this is the update on Alicia Navarro and the person tied to her, or a update. We're going to see if it's the one I'm referencing specifically.
A Montana man who's been connected with the disappearance of a Glendale teenager has now been sentenced to 100 years in prison for an unrelated child pornographic image case. To be clear, Edmund Davis has not been charged with any crime related to Alicia Navarro. She was just 14 when she disappeared from her Glendale home. The images in this case do not involve her.
Hill County cause DC-23-88, State of Montana versus Mr. Davis.
38-year-old Edmund Davis faced a judge for sentencing Monday in Montana. He was arrested a year and a half ago, just weeks after Alicia Navarro, then 18, walked into a small-town police department asking to be taken off the missing persons list.
Do y'all know who that looked like? We're at 47. I'll bring it right back. Who does that look like right there? You know who it looks like to me? Keegan Klein. Let's go back to 47. Okay, so he was arrested shortly after she walked into the police station and said, please take me off the missing person list.
Missing persons list.
The family is healing, but this is such an ordeal to overcome.
Kathleen Wynn is an advocate for Alicia's family. When authorities searched Davis's home for evidence related to Alicia's disappearance, they say they found images of child sex abuse material on his cell phone and other devices.
I think the harshness of the penalty is reflective of that.
Davis sentenced to 100 years in prison after pleading guilty to one count of sexual abuse of children.
He will not be able to ask to be released from prison for 25 years.
His sentencing has been delayed for months, waiting on results from a psychosexual evaluation, which said Davis was diagnosed with pedophilic disorder and was comfortable with dishonesty.
Mr. Davis, I hope that you take advantage of any rehabilitative opportunities you have at the Montana State Prison.
Alicia and her family no longer live in Arizona, and they've remained out of the spotlight. They were not involved in this Montana case, but were informed of the outcome.
The judge was very clear that she was not going to lighten the sentence yesterday in court, and that he was going to be held accountable because he had shown no remorse.
The ABC 15 investigators have reached out to Glendale Police, the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, as well as federal authorities, asking if Davis could face future criminal charges related to Alicia Navarro's disappearance. We'll let you know when we hear back from them. I'm Senior Investigator Melissa Blasius, ABC 15, Arizona.
So if he is directly correlated with her disappearance, I mean, I'm wondering if she was talking to him online and then she ran away to meet him and then she just stayed because possibly she was scared to go home. He might not have let her go home because he was scared of getting in trouble, which ultimately happened. I don't know. What am I doing? Okay. We're going to look at the Reddit post on this, but I mean, at least she was found, right? It's just... He somehow enticed her to come out of there. I mean, to leave her house because that is the man that had her for however many years, evidently, from what I understand, allegedly, I'll say. So how did he get her at 14 years old to leave her house and come with him? And why did she stay? Did he let her leave? What's the deal? So we're going to look at this Reddit post. Let me say this is Reddit. Reddit is not a verified source, but they do have information occasionally that's good. I'm going to read this to you. So this says Edmund Davis, man linked to Alicia Navarro, sentenced to 100 years for child sexual abuse material from 11 days ago. There is a warning. This is childhood sexual abuse or CSAM. Update in the case involving Alicia Navarro, the Arizona girl who went missing in 2019 at age 14, was found 4 years later in Montana. Edmund Davis, 38, who had been living with Navarro in Haver, Montana, has been sentenced to 100 years in Montana State Prison with 50 years suspended. He won't be eligible for parole for 25 years. So he was sentenced to 100 but got 50. Davis pleaded guilty in September 2024 to one count of sexual abuse of children after investigators found explicit child sexual abuse material on his electronic devices during a search of the apartment he shared with Navarro. So that's definitely who took her. I'm assuming she met him online. Court documents listed David as Navarro's boyfriend. Prosecutors said that during the July 2023 search, Davis tried to hide his phone by throwing it in the trash and covering it. Police later found over 80 images of child sexual abuse material on his devices, including images of children under the age of 13, toddlers, and computer-generated content depicting child exploitation. Authorities were led to the apartment after Alicia walked into the Haver police station, identified herself, and asked to be cleared from the missing persons list. She had disappeared from her mother's home in Glendale, Arizona on September 15, 2019 at age 14. Officials have not said how she ended up in Montana, and Davis has not been charged in connection with her disappearance. Her mother, Jessica Nunez, confirmed to NBC News that Alicia is now with her, and she said she was grateful for the sentencing, so she is back with her mom. Quote, "I can't recover the years that I was not with her, and I cannot change the trauma," unquote, she said. Quote, "But I can appreciate my daughter is alive and that we are healing together as a family," unquote. And these are pictures of them together during that time period. So considering that she's back with her mom, I think that she was abducted by him. She left willingly, but either way, it's classified as an abduction, and she just stayed. I mean, again, I doubt, considering that she's a missing child, and if she just pops up somewhere, the police are going to want to know where she's at, and he's going to get in trouble, which is what ultimately happened even after she turned 18. I doubt he let her leave before she turned 18. And I do believe that there was probably pictures and videos of her and him on there that he deleted because he knew she was leaving and going to turn herself in. And so he deleted all that stuff before the police got there. Oh, Stephanie, thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. Yeah, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. And I think that he got sentenced to so many years because they know that he abused her and they know that he took her, but they can't prove it or pin that on him, so they gave him 100 years for the CSAM, which he should have got regardless. But I think that they're pissed off about the connection to Alicia that he had, and therefore, you know, gave him a stiff sentence. Anders said Montana, Florida has death penalty for child SA. I think some other states do too. We need to look into that. Leave your DNA on the like button, guys. Yes. What did Joy say? Instant death penalty for most of them. That's what they deserve, absolutely. So there's some pictures of her and him together. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Goodness. Okay. So now we're going to go to trying to share a tab I don't even have open yet. There was a hearing for the girl who was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, I do believe it was, in the Slender Man homicides. Do y'all remember that case? Hold on a minute. Sorry. Do y'all remember that case where the girl and her friend, I do believe it was, took their friend to the woods and then committed a homicide on her and said that Slender Man told them to do it? Let's do this first. Let me see what I can share. So this is Law and Crime. We'll watch this to kind of touch you guys up on the case.
He came upon a 12-year-old female.
I'm going to grab the link to this and pin it in the comment section. This is from Law and Crime Network. It is sidebar. It's going to tell us about the Slender Man killings, and then we're going to look at the where she was just in court yesterday.
He came upon a 12-year-old female. She appears to be stabbed.
She appears to be what?
Stabbed.
Stabbed?
Correct.
Okay.
Sir, you still there?
Yes.
Hi, sir. So are you with this 12-year-old female?
Yes, she says she's having trouble breathing. She said she was stabbed multiple times.
She stabbed her classmate 19 times and left her for dead, all to appease a faceless and fictional character. Now Morgan Geyser wants to be released from a state mental institution. We're breaking down the key developments in this case as she petitions for release. Criminal defense attorney Bob Mata. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Elizabeth Milner.
So we're going to watch where they go over the case. I'm not going to watch where they discuss it and do all of the other things. Hey, Crackerjacks, we're just going to watch where they go over the case, not where they have like lawyers talk about their theories on it.
10 years ago, at just 12 years old, while playing a game of hide and seek in a local Waukesha, Wisconsin park, Morgan Geyser committed the unthinkable. She stabbed her classmate Peyton Lautner 19 times, while Geyser's friend Anissa Wire urged her on. The two preteens left Peyton for dead and went on their way. Peyton thankfully was able to crawl to safety and flag down a cyclist who called 911.
He came upon a 12-year-old female. She appears to be stabbed.
She appears to be what?
Stabbed.
Stabbed?
Correct.
Okay.
Sir, you still there?
Yes.
Hi, sir. So are you with this 12-year-old female?
Yes, she says she's having trouble breathing. She said she was stabbed multiple times.
Stabbed multiple times?
Yeah.
Okay, sir, are you with her right now?
Yes.
Is she awake?
She's awake.
Is she breathing?
Yeah, she's breathing. She said she can take shallow breaths. She's alert.
Okay, stay with her. We're sending the police department. Don't hang up, okay?
Oh,
hold on just a minute. Don't hang up.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on just a minute, sir. We're sending officers.
Okay.
Is there any assailant around?
I didn't even look. I don't see anybody.
It's a dead end. Okay, stay right with her, sir. Is she on the ground or is she standing up?
No, she's laying on the grass.
Laying on the grass. Stay right with her. Just let me know if she is remaining conscious or not, okay?
Okay.
This is crazy. I could not imagine going. I mean, we watched Creepypasta, which Creepypasta is where this story of Slender Man came from. Me and my friends watched Creepypasta. We had seances in graveyards. We walked around. Sorry if that was loud. I mean, we did all the things, and we would have never hurt each other. This story is absolutely insane to me, and I think the schizoaffective disorder definitely, absolutely plays a role in this, but I'll never understand. Like I said, me and my friends watched all the scary things. We thought that we went into abandoned houses thinking they were haunted. I mean, I don't understand how we go from innocent kid stuff like that to this. I never will either.
Is there any bleeding going on?
Her clothing has got blood on it.
Where are the wounds? Do you see where the wounds are?
No, I don't know if I should be rolling her over and checking or not. Do you know where?
Okay, just stay with her and just let me know if she's conscious or alert or stops breathing or anything. Hold on, I'm going to talk to the ambulance. Police are also en route.
Okay, thank you. I'm bothering you at all? My shade? Okay.
Just keep her in that position. Just let me know on her breathing.
Once the two were caught by authorities, they blamed the stabbing on a tall, thin, faceless man. And as you may have guessed it, he wasn't even real. The case gained notoriety across the world and became known as the Slender Man stabbing. Morgan Geyser and Anissa Wire were both convicted for their roles in the infamous crime and sent to mental institutions. Now one of those girls is asking to be released from the state mental hospital. Morgan Geyser, who brutally stabbed Peyton Lautner, is asking a Waukesha County Circuit judge to be released. She virtually appeared inside a Waukesha courtroom on Monday. We'll get to that hearing in just a moment, but first, let's go back to 2014. 3 young girls had a sleepover. They go to a park. Geyser stabs Peyton Lautner as Anissa Wire eggs her on. Lautner barely survived her wounds, according to officials. Once officials captured Geyser and Wire on a Wisconsin interstate, the two were reportedly cool, calm, and collected. They told investigators they're earning the rights to become servants to the fictional Slender Man, and if they failed, their families would be killed. Once the case went through the courts, they faced being tried as adults for the attempted murder. Both girls pleaded not guilty due to mental illness, but ultimately took plea deals to avoid prison. Anissa Wire received 25 years in the Wisconsin Department of Health Services, but Morgan Geyser received 40 years. Wire petitioned for the same conditional release that Geyser is asking for now. Wire was granted that conditional release in 2021 and allowed to live with her father. Her conditions included requirements for outpatient psychiatric treatment and GPS monitoring, but that was waived in September 2023. So could Morgan Geyser get the same opportunity? She appeared via Zoom for a scheduling conference. Let's take a listen to what happened inside that Wisconsin courtroom.
So there's been another hearing yesterday that we're going to look at after we look at this. You have a vintage glow-in-the-dark Ouija board. I had a Ouija board. I moved it out of the house because my husband, we're trying to do right and teach the children about God, and it just wasn't really appropriate to have the Ouija board in the house anymore. I kind of grew out of those things. However, I used to have I have tarot cards too. I mean, I just have put all that stuff in storage for now, probably about 3 years ago. But me and the kids, we were campsite hosts at a lake, which is where you know how if you go camping, you'll see the people who clean the bathrooms and things. Well, during COVID, we did that because nobody was living. I mean, you know, people were traveling and all the things like that. So we stayed in a camper, and I was a campsite host. So if somebody needed to talk to the ranger, they would come to me. I cleaned the bathrooms and all that. And on the weekends, when there wasn't that many people there, I had my tarot cards at the time and the Ouija boards and things. And we went to the beach area on the lake, and we lit candles and played with the Ouija board. And I think their dad came out of the woods and scared them. They still remember that. It was fun. But again, I mean, even they wouldn't take that stuff seriously. You know what I mean? Yeah, they want Ouija boards now. I told them, I don't know about that because we're trying not to, we don't want to encourage that kind of stuff, you know, especially at a young age. It's just not good. But we did do it. It was fun. We had fun with it. But, you know, yes, I did. I played light as a feather, stiff as a board. Yes, we did. All of the things. And we would never hurt anybody. So that's why it's weird to me to hear these things.
Well, the matter is here today with regard to a petition filed for conditional release. It was filed on January 17th. I have the petition. District Attorney has the petition?
Yes.
All right. Upon the filing of the petition, court's responsibility then is to appoint doctors to examine Ms. Geyser, and then for those doctors to submit a report to the court and to the parties. Previously, we've had other petitions and we've appointed doctors. How does the parties talked about, conferred with regard to how to proceed?
We did, Judge. Both Mr. Sapakowicz and I think it would make sense for the same doctors to be appointed.
All right.
Certainly on our end, we're asking for Dr. Kenneth Robbins. That's who we're requesting. I think the state is asking for Dr. Collins.
We are, Judge, and Dr. Lundbaum was the third doctor that's previously been appointed. As Mr. Cotton indicated, I think we both agree that it makes sense to have those same three doctors appointed.
All right. The court's satisfied with each of those doctors as being appropriate to conduct the examination. The court will then appoint Dr. Deborah Collins. She'd be appointed on behalf of the state. Court will appoint Dr. Robbins, Kenneth Robbins, on behalf of Ms. Geyser, and the court will appoint Dr. Lundholm on behalf of the court.
This is a really tough case, and it shows you the world is super scary. And sometimes you don't know what to do when you get injured. So when things go wrong, like a work injury, a car accident, even a social security disability issue, you need champions in your corner. So here's where Palm Lee Hockey comes into the picture. They're a powerhouse legal team.
Okay, I'm going to try to skip past this. Okay, so I think, oh no, I guess Bob Motta is going to talk for a little bit. They play some clips, so we'll see if it's intriguing.
To discuss the case and upcoming hearing, we're joined by criminal defense attorney and host of the Defense Diaries podcast, Bob Motta. Bob, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate your time. So, Bob, this was a case that stunned the world. A young girl almost died after being stabbed by Geyser, In your opinion, has she served enough time, and do you think she'll be released from the mental hospital?
Tough question. Maybe. It's really a maybe to both answers, and that's really because we just don't know what the doctors are going to come back with in terms of the evaluations. If the doctors say, look, she had something going on mentally, we think that we've been able to get it fixed.
Oh, sorry, y'all.
And we feel that she's in a good place, then yeah, I think that she's probably served enough time. Fortunately, the victim didn't die. As brutal as the crime was itself. And
Okay, that's kind of what I was looking for. She didn't die. That's good to know. Tarot cards are fun. Ouija boards can be trouble. You can open things you can't close. Yep, and that's why it was put up and it is no longer accessible.
kind of shocking to the conscience. Thankfully she lived, so in light of that, in light of the fact that her partner in crime's already out, if she's good to go mentally, then I think that she's probably been in long enough.
And some might say Morgan was young and she didn't know any better. I mean, she was just 12 years old when this crime was committed. But if the victim in this case would have died from the stabbing, would we even be having this conversation? Would she even be possibly considered for conditional release?
Probably not. I mean, that's, we're going from attempt to the actual homicide itself, which is a much different evaluation, but I mean, that doesn't remove the fact that she was 12, and it's just not a developed mind. We can try, like, I think we talked about it last time, it was a very adult act in terms of the violence and the level of violence that took place. But the bottom line is that she was a kid with an undeveloped mind. There's no cheating time in terms of aging, I mean, it's only life experience and time that can make you, fully developed mentally. And she just didn't have that. So, I mean, that will always have to be taken into consideration. But if the victim had passed away, then I'd have a hard time thinking that she'd be getting out now.
Morgan's lawyer spoke out in a press conference after Monday's hearing.
We're very optimistic this time around. I think it's been very difficult for her. You look at Morgan as somebody who was 11 years old, 12 years old when this first happened, and she's now spent nearly half her life in custody. So I think the whole process has certainly weighed on her. It's weighed on the victim's family too. I think everybody has been impacted by this, but there comes a point where if you do something as a juvenile and you're not legally responsible, you ought to come home at some point.
What can you share with us?
I mean, the fact that she was 12 does bother me. You should, Indy. Because, that is a very young age. I mean, at 6 years old, she had lived half of the life she was going to live before this happened. You know what I mean? And 12 years, I don't know how in 12 years you could be able to do what she did, but I also don't think that at 12 years old to do something like that and now be 24 and have spent half of your life in a mental institution, getting on different types of medications to see what works for you, talking to therapists on at least a couple times a week basis. I think it's possible for her to be rehabilitated. It does bother me that she tried to take her own life recently. If that is true from what somebody said in the comment section, I don't know if she would be ready to be released. If she does indeed have schizoaffective disorder, that would explain a lot. I hope she's on the proper medication, and I would think that you would definitely need to be having weekly check-ins and testing to make sure the medication is in her system and she's taking it like she's supposed to. The proper amounts are in there, and maybe she could be released. That's my thoughts so far.
About how she's feeling right now.
She's feeling optimistic. I thought she looked really good today. You could see her on the screen. She has full privileges at the hospital. She's getting out. She's under supervised watch. She's doing very well.
Do you expect any objections to her release from the victim's family?
It could happen. I don't know what the victim's family is going to say. All I know is what the client is doing. I think she's doing very well. So, when a person has reached the maximum amount of privileges they can have at the hospital, there's not much more they can do there to address their needs. The rest of the needs have to be addressed in the community.
And a judge ordered those evaluations of Morgan. Those reports are due within weeks. What can you tell us about what typically goes into those evaluations, if you can speak on that question?
I'll tell you a story. I'll get a little bit personal. Miss Kimmy said Morgan also admitted in Indiana court that she lied to doctors about being mental. But did she really? I'll tell you a story. I saw a therapist until I was 18. I had some horrible things happen to me when I was 13 and 16. When I turned 18, he had given me Klonopin. He had prescribed me Klonopin, okay? And my last appointment with him, I looked at him and I said, I just want you to know that I said what I thought you wanted to hear so that you would give me Klonopin and I could sell them and buy cigarettes. And I thought that I was just some little badass. I thought that, you know, I had fooled a degreed therapist, somebody that has went to school and is a psychologist and has, you know, he's trained to be a psychologist to children. I felt like a little badass, like I had fooled this man, but had I really? Because at the end of the day, if I felt like I could fool a therapist into giving me prescription medication, if I thought that at 15, 16, 17 years old, I was smarter than a therapist, was I really? Like, maybe I did need that medication at the time. Maybe I was dealing with some shit that I probably shouldn't have been having to deal with. Her saying, trying to lie to the doctors about being mental, but did she really? Like, in order for you to think that you could lie to a doctor about being mental and then think that you're mental, are you not somewhat mental? You know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah, I mean, typically what they'll do is they'll get them in, and they'll go through a battery of psychological tests that are pre-developed. You know, I mean, this isn't just like a doctor sitting there kind of like gabbing with her. You know, there's going to be a battery of tests, probably a couple of different diagnostic tests that'll be run. And then at that point, the doctor will evaluate her answers. You know, they're always looking for things like malingering or lying, you know, and to try to figure out if the patient, or in this situation, the defendant, is being honest with the doctors, because it's tough. You know, I mean, you know, if you're the doctor in that situation, you want to make sure that you're getting it right, because you know that the judge is going to be depending entirely on your opinion with respect to whether or not they're going to release her. So, you know, that's what we can expect. And I imagine that we'll get a pretty thorough report that will be generated as well, so that we'll be actually able to dig into it and see what the doctors thought.
And let's speak a little bit about the victim in this case. Is it possible we could hear from victim Peyton Lautner? Will she be able to speak out in court? Do you know if a victim advocate possibly could speak out in court? What if there's the possibility Peyton Lautner and her family are absolutely vehemently against Morgan Geyser being released from the mental hospital? Is it possible that'll have any weight into the outcome of the decision?
You would hope so. It would have to have weight, you would hope. Now, I don't know in this situation if a victim impact statement will be allowed, you know, typically for sentencing, obviously, and I know for paroles, like for straight parole board hearings, oftentimes the victims can come in. Oftentimes the state's attorneys who prosecuted the cases will come in, and they'll either oppose or, you know, they can be in favor of. It depends on where Peyton's mindset is in the family. You know, I mean, she may realize also that she was a kid, that they were all kids when this happened, and that things have changed. You know, I mean, if she's a forgiving soul and they feel satisfied that, you know, whatever was going on with her at the time has been remedied, then maybe she'll allow for it. But in terms of, you know, how much impact it will have on the judge making the decision whether or not to release her, it's hard to say. You know, I'm certain it would have some impact. But, you know, if you've got a doctor that's saying, look, she's good to go, you know, I feel exceptionally confident in saying that. I think that over the objections of the victim, that she'd probably get released.
More.
Okay, so we kind of got, let me see what the last part of this is that she's going to say. We kind of got the idea.
Geyser has petitioned for conditional release before, but withdrew that petition. I want to know what makes this time so different. During this week's court hearing, Morgan's lawyers did speak that she's doing well and being successful inside the mental health, in the mental health institute. But again, what makes this time so different? Do we think that maturity slowly?
Yes, I think that maturity has happened and she has grown out of that phase of her life, in my opinion. All right, so let's go to the hearing from yesterday. This hearing is 38 minutes, and we'll see what the judge said about her getting released.
Submitted in the court, and now we're here on a hearing with regard to that.
It's kind of hard to hear sometimes.
Ackwitz and Abby Nikolai.
Morgan,
Thank you and good morning.
Good morning. Morgan
get lower
Geyser's
in a
here in
second.
person with Donna Kukler from Kukler and Cotton.
All right, thank you and good morning. Court's here today to review the proposed plan of release that was submitted on April 14, 2025. Has the state received it?
Yes.
Has the defense received it?
Yes.
I'm not sure, Anders. That's a good question. I think she was a little troubled, but not too much. Slender Man looks too much like Jack Skellington to be scary. Aw, yeah, he does. Schizophrenics are usually not violent. Even undiagnosed ones tend to be paranoid and act out of character and tend to avoid people and friends and do odd things. But I can say for sure I know there's probably another part to your conversation. I had a friend who dated a guy who was schizophrenic, and she was actually my friend's older sister. She ended up marrying the guy and having kids with him, and he wasn't mean. He was always nice to all of us. But I didn't understand what schizophrenic was, and she explained it to me one time, and she said that they would be sitting like in McDonald's or, a restaurant eating or whatever, and he would like blink, and all of a sudden everything, like every body he would see would be like covered in blood, and he wouldn't understand why. And that's how she explained that to me. I haven't looked up much of the disorder, and she said he would never hurt anybody, and he never did. It's just a scary thing to see. I don't know. Miss Sarah knows a lot about it, but I haven't seen her. I don't know what's going on with her. It is sad.
Has the defense had an opportunity to review the report with Ms. Geyser?
Yes, we have.
I note that the court had previously submitted an order that authorized that Ms. Geyser be approved a supervised release for her under the statute. Then the state ultimately prepares a plan that's been submitted. The petition for supervised release was under 71.17 sub 4 of the statutes. And then under sub 4 sub E, it sets forth the basis for the plan that's to be submitted to the court. It's been submitted to the court, and now we're here on a hearing with regard to that. Sub E sets forth various items and criteria that
I will drop the link while we listen to this if anybody wanted to come up and talk. Is Morgan's dad schizophrenic as well? Now that you say that, I might have heard something about that, but I'm not sure. I thought I'd heard she had a close family member with it as well. I think that's what I heard too. Bella said that she worked. Bella used to be a nurse. I do believe you were a nurse. She used to work with schizophrenic patients and said they were too sick to hurt somebody other than themselves. Boomer said, I used to work at MH Clinic, and the difference in their personalities when they stopped taking meds was scary. Oh, wow. My sister-in-law was diagnosed at 17 years old, but signs were there from earlier. Yeah. Yeah, there was a big alcoholism in my family. You were an RN, yeah. But ironically, I hate alcohol. There was a young boy here unalived his grandparents and parents because of schizophrenia. That's so sad. He was 16. No, no, yeah, there's a difference between split personality. Split personality disorder is bad, and it usually stems from horrific trauma, and those people are so traumatized by things that they have to deal with or things that they're being put through that they make up another personality to deal with the trauma that they're going through. And depending on the severity of the trauma, depends on how many personalities they'll have. They usually have one that's really quiet and withdrawn that doesn't come out very often. They have one that comes out a lot that's usually like a bully or aggressive, and that's the one that kind of is the protector of all of the personalities. That's the one that comes out when the trauma's happening. I got really into split personality disorder and did some research into it. There's a wonderful movie that describes it called Sybil, but it's horrific and it's based on a true story. There's also another movie that had Halle Berry in it. I think it's called Frankie or something. That's another good movie that described it. That movie was sad. I don't know. I can't really talk about it. It's got a lot to do with racism in the South. That movie made me cry. But yeah, those are good movies to check out. We'll look into them at the end, but I can't play them. Obviously, we'd get in trouble.
Addresses the content of the report. I've read the report as well. Further, I had submitted to Ms. Trickner, the drafter of the report, some questions. She responded to those questions by email that was submitted on April 23 and placed in the file. Has the state had an opportunity to see that?
I've seen that, yes, Judge.
All right. Defense had an opportunity to see that as well.
Yes, Judge.
Real quick, that movie I was talking about is called Frankie and Alice. That's what it looks like. I bought that movie on Amazon. It's a really good movie. It says about it, Frankie and Alice, starring Halle Berry as a woman suffering from a multiple personality disorder, went into very limited release in late 2010 as an award season contender, landing Berry a Golden Globe. Inspired by a true story, Frankie and Alice tells the story of an African-American go-go dancer named Frankie, who's played by Halle Berry, who struggles to live with dissociative identity disorder and the two personalities battling for control of her life. It's really good. Like, I would highly recommend that movie if you have not seen it. Okay, back to this.
Right. And is Ms. Trickner in court today?
She is.
All right. Where is she? There we go. All right. Thank you. So what's the state's view?
Judge, my view is we have a large problem.
Oh, no.
And I don't mean to speak for Ms. Trinkner, but I believe they would like an opportunity to redo this plan. When I first read the plan, Judge, I was shocked that there was no mention whatsoever of the victim or where the victim might reside or where this proposed residence for Ms. Geyser was in relation to where the victim resided. The authors of the plan never consulted with the victim in this case, and I have learned in the last 5 or 10 minutes that literally these two locations, the victim's residence and this proposed location for Ms. Geyser, are in less than 8 miles from each other. The entire state of Wisconsin, Judge, we have a plan that has her 8 miles away. The department and the authors of the plan didn't know that. They don't believe it's at all appropriate anymore.
I mean, nobody looked into the fact that she would be less than 8 miles from her victim before we talked about this release plan. Come on, y'all. What are you even doing?
The victims are here by Zoom, and I know victim's mom wished to address the court. We knew generally that they were very close by, and now, like I said, in the last 10 minutes, I've been provided the exact address of where Ms. Geyser is proposed to be, and literally less than 8 miles apart, Judge. So we object to the plan. We're asking that the court adjourn this hearing and give the authors of the plan more time to see if there isn't somewhere else that may be more appropriate under the circumstances.
All right, thank you. Ms. Thickner, could you come forward and just have a seat at the table in front? She should be able to sit at the front table. Then
I do want to say, I know y'all are talking a little bit in the chat about the people on TikTok pretending to have DID disorder. I'm sorry. I'll say it. They're pretending. Dissociative identity disorder. Again, if you watch Sybil or Frankie and Alice, the trauma that one has to go through at a young age is so astounding that the personality of the child literally splits because the child cannot take on the trauma. It is not something that, we're just, it irritates the shit out of me to see people pretending to have such a horrible disorder. That again, I can't express the amount of trauma that has to happen in a child's life. I mean, the trauma is so extensive that this child, they literally split into different people. There's another movie about a boy who had it, and I watched a documentary on that, and I'll give you an example of that. His father or stepfather would take him out into the barn and literally beat the shit out of him and then rape him at like 4, 5, 6 years old. It's not something cute to have on TikTok. It's horrific abuse to the point that a child's personality splits. I can't with the TikTok shit. I hate it. That's not dissociative identity disorder, and they need to stop it. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
just identify yourself, please.
Yep. Grace, Grace, Trinkner, Trinkner.
And what role do you have in this matter?
Yep, I am the case manager assigned to Morgan Geyser.
All right, and you prepared the supervised release plan?
Yes, I did.
All right. So what's the status of the plan from your perspective?
At this time, we would ask for more time to look for a new location for Ms. Geyser to reside. Originally, we felt it was appropriate for Ms. Geyser to reside in Milwaukee County, as we believed it was removing her from the location that the offense occurred. At this time, now that we know that the location is close to the victim's residence, we no longer feel it is appropriate for Ms. Geyser to reside there.
All right. Just on the status of 8 miles, what distance do you believe would be appropriate to separate the victim from Ms. Geyser?
I don't know at this time.
Well, are you looking at 8.5 miles? Are you looking at 10 miles, 20 miles, 50?
We're definitely looking at more than 10 miles.
All right. Would that be outside of the, it's one, you've made a determination that placement would be outside of Waukesha County.
Yes.
So you're looking perhaps at a location outside of Milwaukee County as well?
If it is appropriate, yes.
All right. What's the defense position then?
This is first we're hearing about it.
Yeah, I'm sort of surprised there wasn't a discussion about that
Same
before
here.
the case is called. It's usually a professional courtesy that's extended just to clear the air and be able to go forward. So what's the...
I didn't have a chance to formulate, my thoughts exactly, but I don't know when we say 8 miles, if they're in the same county. Is that what, I haven't heard that the victim is living in Milwaukee County. Is that what I understand?
Well, Judge,
now, nobody asked for you to respond yet. And Attorney Kukler, you can't address questions to others than the court.
I'm addressing it to Your Honor.
All right.
My question would be whether or not they're both living in the same county. The 8 miles could be, you could be in Waukesha County, Jefferson County. You could, well, couldn't be Jefferson for 8, but I don't think 8 miles just per se is a problem. I would also point out that
They're talking about the distance between the victim and the person who did it. Hold on. I think his name was Charles. Let me think of how to ask this. That story, Charles Henkel, or Tobias Henkel. The first criminal male with dissociative identity disorder was Tobias Henkel, who appeared in season 2 of Criminal Minds, but I've heard the tapes. That might not be him. Billy Milligan, that's it, right there. I've heard the tapes of Billy Milligan. People say, I've heard that he plagiarized another woman. I don't believe that. Let me pull him up. There's like the Lost Tapes or something. It's a documentary on Billy Milligan. That's him, yep. And he said that what I just told you about his stepfather in the barn, he killed. So it says, learn about the infamous case of Billy Milligan, who was acquitted of rapes by claiming to have multiple personalities. This docuseries explores his childhood trauma, his diagnosis, his escape, and his death. That's a really interesting story too. I think his siblings testified that some of that stuff happened. But yeah, that Billy Milligan actually did have he's another one that actually had dissociative identity disorder. I believe his story, but he got in trouble for raping women. But you should look up, I think it's on YouTube, the Lost Tapes of Billy Milligan. I think it's that one that I saw all the different faces of Billy Milligan or whatever. That's an interesting story. The Minds of Billy Milligan. That might be it. Billy Milligan, though, is his name. You should definitely look into that case, too. So Frankie and Alice and Sybil are good movies, and the story of Billy Milligan. Those explain dissociative identity disorder. And again, this freaking girl that pretends she's talking to herself on TikTok does not have dissociative identity disorder. I don't know why you would want to pretend to have that. Jesus. The trauma. Stop it. It might be the name of the movie, Split. You think one of the Hillside Stranglers tried to fake split personalities? It wouldn't surprise me. The United States of Tara? I haven't heard of that one. Was it on Netflix? So maybe that's where I saw it. Ghislaine Maxwell is in federal prison in Tallahassee. I didn't know that. Thank you, Jenny Jen. It might be from the movie Split. But yeah, those are interesting stories. Okay, back to this. They're talking about how she lives within 8 miles of her victim from the Slender Man killings, and they're saying they would like for it to be at least 10 miles or more before she can be released.
There is a no contact. It's part of the plan, of course. So
yes,
to suggest that there's
Kalisa.
no that there's been no consideration of the victim isn't true, because that is part of the plan, that Morgan have no contact with her. I would also point out that the plan provides for Morgan to be on house arrest. She's not allowed to leave where she's going to be placed. And she, I think that what we could do is allow her to be placed where is the place has been provided for her. She'll be on house arrest. And if the state wants to work on finding yet another place to move her to, then they could move her when they find that other place. But she can't leave where she's going to be residing anyway. So that would be my thought.
All right. Ms. Thickner, apparently up until this morning, you had not, I was going to say.
I'm going to drop the Discord link. If y'all aren't part of the Discord, try to join it, because I do have the movie Frankie and Alice on Amazon, and maybe I can stream it one day. Maybe we could do it Sunday or something, and we can watch it together, because I would love to watch it with y'all. It's a really interesting movie. I'm going to drop the Discord link, and make sure y'all are a member so we can watch it at some point together. Roxanne said 10 miles. I'd ask for 100. I would too. I mean, I think 10 miles is still too close in my opinion.
Proximity, but I don't see that 8 miles is in proximity to the victim. It's less than 10 miles, I understand that. But what was the criteria that the state used in developing the recommendation that it did?
The recommendation of the housing?
Right, well, the plan.
Yeah, well, we consulted with Department of Corrections and Department of Health Services to develop the plan. We met several times to go over different restrictions that we felt might be appropriate for Ms. Geyser, based on the offense itself, based on her current treatment needs. And we determined that a group home would be appropriate for her at this time, as there would be increased supervision, as well as GPS monitoring, so that Ms. Geyser's location could be tracked and different areas would be restricted.
So what is the
Right.
district attorney reported,
Hey, Kimmy.
and you've reported, and what you've said is that based upon the 8-mile distance between the victim and the group home, that is inappropriate. Why? I guess I'm somewhat struggling with why it's inappropriate.
We would like there to be distance between Ms. Geyser and the victim due to the victim's safety, and providing the victim space to continue to reside where they are without worrying about Ms. Geyser's location.
All right, any response from Attorney Kukler?
Well, again, I'm just wondering if they're within the same county or not.
Well, that apparently the view of the conditional release writer is that there be greater distance between the victim and Ms. Geyser's residence.
Ms. Geyser isn't allowed to leave her county.
No, I understand that concept. I also understand the argument that's being made as a justification for a renewed report. It may be that Milwaukee County, if Milwaukee County is a location, is a big county. It may be that they'd look elsewhere. It certainly is a factor that I'm satisfied that it's appropriate to review. In other respects, I'm satisfied the report is appropriate. What's the state's view with regard to the report, other than the distance?
There are some things, Judge, that were left open-ended, like GPS restrictions, and much of what's indicated in the report is left to the discretion of the treatment team. We think there should be some further judicial oversight on some of these factors, like location, like GPS restrictions. Like those things can't get moved without notice to the court and the court can decide whether it wants to have a hearing or not, but at least that notice be provided. And perhaps the court would decide this is something the court should take a look at, and it should be the judge's decision when some of these changes to the plan get made. Back on the living situation, Judge, I thought there was some effort here to keep both locations confidential. In fact, that's why the location for Ms. Geyser was submitted in camera to the court this morning, I believe. So on the issue,
well, we have nothing. By the way, I have nothing that was submitted to the court this morning.
It may be that Ms. Trinkner has it with her. I'm not sure if that. I assume that's been submitted to the court, but
Jessica, have we received anything?
I don't see anything.
Maybe Ms. Trinkner can speak to that, Judge, but it does have the exact address, and we were just provided with that this morning. Also, Judge,
wait now.
Okay.
I don't have, you said I had it. I don't have it. And I'm looking now at Ms. Thickner to see, do I have it and it's just not been transmitted electronically, or what happened?
It has not been submitted electronically. Our contractors at DHS wanted us to provide a paper copy today at the court hearing, and it was provided this morning to Attorney Nikolai.
Was it provided to the defense?
No. We brought along a singular copy. We were told it was to be reviewed in the judge's chambers.
Of course, then you give it to the DA. You don't give it to the judge.
I apologize.
It's an odd way to operate.
And I thought it was provided to the court, Judge.
And not provided to the defense. That's not appropriate at all.
I do apologize.
Now, this is what some people may refer to as a high-profile case, which would generally mean that in particular T's are crossed, I's are dotted, to be sure that all rights are protected and that notice is appropriately given. It's not meant to be a subterfuge or somewhat trickery involved or ambush type of thing with new issues being raised at the last minute and other people involved don't know about it, and that's somewhat what's happened here. I'm really surprised. If I need another comment, I'll ask for it.
Lapita. He just got snappy. He said, if I want to hear your mouth, I'll ask you to open it. So shut it.
I'm just reviewing the report.
With the victim's location under seal as it should be, maybe the defense didn't know that she was 8 miles away. Could be an honest mistake. Just saying it could be. Absolutely. Judge Snappaloo. He said, shut your mouth. Shut it. I don't know the outcome of this hearing yet. I'm watching it with you guys, but I mean, I can see where they're talking about, like, if it's in another county, she's not supposed to be out of county and could be in trouble, so therefore they wouldn't run into each other, but it's still too close. Because if she has a snap from reality and that girl is that close or she knows her address, that would not be good. He said, no time for your shenanigans. Morgan Geyser was caught playing with a Ouija board and reading satanic worship materials. I watched her latest hearing. She should have been given day passes, in my opinion. Truth Seeker, that was a Bellis earlier. I did see your name in the 50 that was dropped. Thank you for coming in and saying thank you. Yeah, the prosecution shouldn't have pulled this fast one, not letting the judge know what they've uncovered and made the decision without him dumb. Yeah. All right, sir. I know there's a lot of documents here because, I mean, there's a lot of mental health papers and things. All right, we're about to get into where somebody speaks. Oh, Indy, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate that. That was so sweet and supportive of you. Thank you so much, sweetheart.
Right, the victim's mother wanted to make a statement.
She does, Judge.
All right.
Oh, here we
And
go.
Just identify the victim's mother.
Stacy
Yeah.
Lautner, and she's appearing by Zoom.
So, Ms. Lautner, are you present by Zoom?
Good morning, Your Honor. Yes, I am.
If you wish to make a statement, you may.
I do. Thank you. Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Stacy Leitner, and I am the mother of Peyton Leitner. I speak today on behalf of our entire family regarding the proposed conditional release of Ms. Geyser. Last week, we reviewed aspects of Ms. Geyser's release plan with the District Attorney's Office and were immediately and deeply concerned to learn the proposed community for her placement. This community is the same community where Peyton currently resides, pursues her graduate studies, maintains her social connections with friends and family, and works as a mental health provider. As Your Honor can appreciate, this news has caused significant distress for our family. This is not the first experience with the conditional release process. In spring of 2021, Ms. Geyser's co-defendant was released. During that process, the conditional release team engaged with our family to understand Peyton's residence and schooling. The resulting release plan considered these factors, offering us a measure of reassurance that the efforts were made to ensure Peyton's safety. In stark contrast, the Department of Health Services made no attempt to contact our family while drafting Ms. Geyser's release plan. They made no effort to ascertain details
Okay,
of
hold on.
her life that would be pertinent to this planning. While we understand the complexities of this case.
Present by Zoom?
Good morning, Your Honor. Yes, I am.
I'm going to tell you what she said. I'll put up closed caption, and if we can read it, maybe we can read it that way. I'll try to tell you what she said because it's so low, and I think I've got the sound all the way up. Okay, now it's all the way up. I'll pause it and tell you what she says. She said so far, good morning. Yes, I am here via Zoom.
If you wish to make a statement, you may.
I do. Thank you.
I do, thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Stacy Leitner, and I'm
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Stacy Leitner,
the mother of Peyton Leitner.
and I'm the mother of Peyton Leitner.
I speak today on behalf of our entire family regarding the proposed conditional release of Ms. Geyser.
I speak today on behalf of our entire family regarding the proposed conditional release of Miss Geyser.
Last week, we reviewed aspects of Ms. Geyser's release plan with the District Attorney's Office.
Last week, Miss Geyser's release plan with the District Attorney's Office.
We were immediately and deeply concerned to learn the proposed community for her placement.
And we were immediately deeply concerned to learn the proposed community for her placement.
This community is the same community where Peyton currently resides.
This community is the same community where Peyton currently resides.
Pursues her graduate studies.
Pursues her graduate studies.
Maintains her social connections with friends.
Maintains her social connections with friends.
And family.
And family.
And works as a mental health provider.
And works as a mental health provider. So she works as a mental health provider now. That's interesting.
As Your Honor can appreciate, this news has caused significant distress for our family.
As Your Honor can appreciate, this news has caused significant distress for our family.
This is not the first experience with the conditional release process.
This is not our first experience with the conditional release process.
In spring of 2021, Ms. Geyser's co-defendant was released.
In spring of 2021, Ms. Geyser's co-defendant was released.
During that process, the conditional release team engaged with our family to understand Peyton's residence and schooling.
During that process, the defense team talked to them to understand Miss Geyser's release plan and residence and school. To understand Peyton's residence and schooling, they got with them basically and discussed the release plan and all of that. Hey, Abraham, it's good to see you, sweetheart. Okay.
The resulting release plan considered these factors,
The resulting release plan considered these factors,
offering us a measure of reassurance that the efforts were made to ensure Peyton's safety.
offering us a measure of reassurance that the efforts were made to ensure Peyton's safety.
In stark contrast, the Department of Health Services made no attempts to contact our family while drafting Ms. Geyser's release plan.
In stark contrast, the defense for Ms. Geyser has made no attempt to contact Peyton's family while drafting Ms. Geyser's release plan. Cara, thank you so much for gifting 10 Speculation Station memberships. That was so sweet and supportive of you. Hold on, I have my email pulled up. Those went to, hold on just a minute. Hold on just a minute. No. Yes. Okay. Those went to Living and Learning Life, Mom 1 Interrupted, Whit Miller, Wendy Shea, Dreams 99, Wow, Big Pat, Grateful Little Farm, Sonia 287, Lena McLillan. Yes. So thank you, Cara. That was so sweet and supportive of you. I really appreciate that. If you were gifted a membership by Cara and you are aware you were gifted, please tell Cara thank you. And thank you again, Cara. And I'll grab the Polar Express to pick you up on the way to Speculation Station. Thank you so very much, Cara. That was so sweet. Not Speculation Station. I know. Roxanne, are you okay, love? I hope everything's good. All right, I'm going to continue reading this.
They made no effort to ascertain details of Peyton's daily life.
They made no effort to ascertain details of Peyton's daily life.
That would be pertinent to this planning.
That would be pertinent to this planning. Oh, prayers for your son's recovery, Roxanne. I'm so sorry. I hope that your son recovers okay.
While we understand the complexities of this case and the need
to consider
Geyser's safety given the public and media attention,
Miss Geyser's safety given the public and media attention,
we must ask what consideration has been given to Peyton's rights and her need for safety.
We must ask what consideration has been given to Peyton's rights and her need for safety.
It is difficult for us to comprehend why, in this instance, the rights of the offender appear to supersede the rights of the victim.
It is difficult for us to understand why, in this case, the rights of the offender appear to supersede the rights of the victim. Aw, Roxanne, I'm so sorry, sweetheart. You can email me if you need to.
Peyton has worked incredibly hard to heal from the profound trauma she endured.
Peyton has worked incredibly hard to heal from the profound trauma that she endured.
And has established a meaningful life within this community.
It has established a meaningful life within this community.
Deserves the fundamental right to continue living her life in peace.
She deserves the fundamental right to continue living her life in peace.
She deserves the right to engage in everyday activities.
She deserves the right to engage in everyday activities.
Grocery shopping or visiting the library without the agonizing fear of encountering the individual who held her down
Like the right to go to the grocery store or the library without the agonizing fear of encountering the individual who held her down and stabbed her 19 times when she was just 12 years old.
It feels unconscionable that the Department of Health Services seemingly failed to consider the profound re-traumatization these actions could inflict upon Peyton.
It is really hard to understand that. Hold on. I missed that. I thought I had it. It feels unconscionable that the Department of Health and Human Services
seemingly failed to consider
the profound re-traumatization this could have on Peyton.
These actions could inflict upon Peyton. Therefore, Your Honor, we respectfully request that you order the conditional release planning team to
Therefore, we respectfully ask that you order the conditional release planning team to
identify alternative placement facilities for Ms. Geyser.
Identify alternative placement facilities for Ms. Geyser. It was a horrible attack. Trying to catch up. Peyton is the little girl attacked by her two friends over the Slender Man hoax. Yes.
In a community where Peyton can continue to live her life without this constant and understandable fear.
In a community where Peyton can continue to live her life without this constant and understandable fear. Thank you for your time and careful consideration of our concerns.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you being here and appearing in your statement as well. Any further statements from the district attorney?
Judge, I can't put it any better than that. That is the concern, and that's why we're asking that you reject this plan today and allow more time for a different possible placement. Like I said, we didn't learn until moments before the hearing how exactly close the two placements were. There had been an email from Ms. Erin Groff to the defense and to the state indicating the department's plan was to provide a written notice of Ms. Geyser's proposed address for an in-camera review as, again,
I do
these
too.
locations, everyone's doing
Good
their
question.
best to try to keep it confidential.
All right, again, it's always amazing. An in-camera review would have been with the court, and the court's not part of the communication. That's an interesting way to operate. Not the DA's responsibility, but interesting how the state operates, how the planning operates. And I'll look to Attorney Kugler. Anything further from Attorney Kugler?
I understand the concern here. I didn't realize that there was a discussion last week about the victim's family's concern. Wish that had been brought to our attention. We could have potentially talked to Department of Health Services and maybe made some headway on that before coming here today. I, again, ask that in the interim that you allow Ms. Geyser to reside at the group home under the restriction of being remaining in the home while the state looks for a different placement for her if you think that's appropriate.
All right, thank you. Well, I read the report, the conditional release plan, before coming to court, and I took some time now just to review it once again. Ms. Thickner, anything further from you?
No, Your Honor.
If I do order that there be an amended plan submitted with regard to placement locations, what is your time frame?
We would need at least 30 days.
All right. To do the amendment. All right.
Correct.
All right. Well, I'm satisfied that the issue of location is an important matter. Proximity maybe isn't well, it could be a good description, but location of the defendant's placement, location of the victim are significant factors. There are no contact orders as part of the plan. There's monitoring as part of the plan. All those are significant. What happens, even in the best of circumstances, is that oftentimes there's inadvertent contact that occurs not meant to happen, but it happens. The closer people are to each other, the more likely inadvertent contact that
Right. Like, if you have them 8 miles apart, I mean, they could come across each other not even necessarily meaning to, which would not be a good idea. I agree. Who's. Oh, yeah, I saw that on Grizzly. I've requested the information. Yeah, I'm hoping to be able to discuss that with you guys. I need to email her and see if I can go over it, but I have requested that information, so we're going to try to go over it this week.
the more likely that that type of inadvertent contact can occur. We don't want that to happen in any type of case, certainly in the case, in this case with regard to the particular history of it. So that's a significant factor for the court to consider. The court presided over the earlier conditional release plan of the co-defendant, and I recall the carefulness with regard to contact with the victims and victim's family, and the defense at that point to be sure that all was proper and appropriate. There seemed to be some. Well, there's some. I don't know. I don't quite know how to describe it, but I'm disappointed in the states in the plan, in the conditional release team, in how they've appropriated and how they came up with the plan, not taking into account the location, but then this type of really communication with.
See, yeah, I agree with him 100%. Like the co-defendants team got with Peyton's family and discussed all this with them beforehand, whereas the main offenders team has not even considered Peyton, her feelings, and her community, which is upsetting. Like, why are you not communicating with the family like the other co-defendants people did? Like, you got to communicate with the co-defendant, with the victim, and let them know, hey, this person might be getting out, and make a plan together. The victim definitely needs to be involved inadvertently.
Only one side of the situation, and then that they communicate with regard to things the court should do without letting the court in. It's a secret, and unfortunately, the court it can't be secret from the court. And it wasn't until this morning.
Hey, Teresa.
When it's brought up in the court on a number of occasions.
Abraham.
So that's, I'm hoping that'll be rectified.
Me
so
too.
I'm going to order that the conditional release plan submit an updated report that addresses location. And I think the state's comment with regard to the GPS monitoring, the type of any travel outside of restricted areas should be subject to at least court review, and that should be part of the hearing. With regard to the co-defendant, when there was a petition filed to eliminate the GPS monitoring, and that was then held in court. We conducted a hearing on it, and I think that's appropriate for those type of situations to occur as well. So I'll order that the plan be modified in all material respects to take into account the location of the defendant relative to the victim, that court supervision of any changes to one of the substantial factors such as GPS monitoring be set forth so it can be reviewed by the court, and that any other material aspects of the report which should be modified can be modified at that point. I'm going to order that any additions and modifications be completed within 30 days of today's date. That today is April 28th. So if you file it by May 28th, can you do that?
Yes, I can.
All right. And then we'll set a hearing then in June, probably the mid-June, with regard to that. And I allow 2 hours.
Grab my calendar just a second.
As part of looking for the date, I want to be sure that any material aspects of the report, communications of the report, have to be communicated to both parties, both the defense and the state. This isn't the conditional release team is not an agent of the district attorney's office. You're actually probably an agent of the court, if nothing, as I appointed you and requested that you do the report. That means you have to communicate with both the defense and the state, and where the court's particularly involved, the court should be told and communicated with as well. The court should not be in a position to learn about things the court should know from one of the attorneys in the case because they had a conversation with the conditional release team.
June 20th at 9:30. He's going to check his calendar.
Do you need another date, Attorney Kukler?
Hey, Nessa.
All right, we'll give you another date. That week or another week?
Are we going to be looking later?
We're looking for a date.
Okay. Would you have any?
Morgan, I think.
Anything the week of June, like June 9th or June 10th, possibly?
This is Morgan Geyser from the Slender Man killings. I'm going to try to
Thank you.
pull up the Slender Man story if I can play it without getting in trouble, and then we'll go for the day.
Good for you then?
Good, thank you.
Good for the state?
It's good for us, Judge. We would need some confirmation, if possible, from the victims if that date's available.
Do you have, how do you want to have that confirmed? We'll do it just on the
If Ms.
Zoom
Leitner
appearance.
if
Ms.
she-
Leitner, are you there again?
I am, Judge.
Is that a good date for you?
Was the date June 9th?
Yes.
June 9th at 8:30.
Yes, that date works for me.
All right, very good. Anybody else have a significant issue with that date that we ought to know about?
All right.
No.
I think that's good, Judge.
All right, then
So June 9th is when she goes back to court and they review a different location for her to be released. We will try. Yeah, they made a story about it. Let's see. I suppose we will try. Wait a minute. Where'd it go? This one. I'm going to drop their link. I'll see.
He's tall.
If this gives us an idea of who Slender Man is. All right, give me just a second and I will drop their link in the description box and in the chat box. This is going to tell us Slender Man. Basically, she supposedly tried to commit homicide on this child due to wanting to appease Slender Man, and she said that she thought that Slender Man was going to come and kill her family. The story was that if you saw Slender Man and I think it was committed a homicide, you could go live with him in the forest forever. So this is from Monsterum. I just pinned their link. If you haven't already, please give them a like and subscribe.
He's tall, thin, faceless, and wears a dark suit. Once he's in your life, you're doomed. If you try to learn more about him or even think about him, it only makes it easier for him to find you. He's the notorious internet monster, Slender Man. This 21st century monster gained popularity as more and more content was created and shared about him. Enough so that he jumped the digital border and began to infiltrate other media. Video games, comic books, and movies show him stalking humans.
And it started on Creepypasta. That's where I first saw it. I knew about Slender Man before the homicides actually happened.
People also dress up like him and hunt for him in the woods. Then there's the tragic attempted murder of a 12-year-old girl in 2014 that made him a household name. Unlike so many other monsters, we know exactly when this one was created and by whom, a rarity made possible by the internet. His obscurity is what makes him scary, but the real impact of this monster is how he changed folklore forever.
I'm going to mute this part with the music. This is, again, Monsterum.
2009, the online forum Something Awful posted a Photoshop challenge. Turn ordinary photographs into creepy-looking images through digital manipulation. User Victor Surge, whose real name is Eric Knudsen, responded on June 10th with 2 black and white photographs. The first photograph shows a group of teenagers walking towards the camera. Behind them, you can barely make out a tall, blurry figure lurking in the background. The teens seem unaware of his presence. The second photograph depicts a more clear image of Slender Man. It shows children happily playing in a playground, but in the background under a tree, a shadowy figure looms.
I think that's the more prominent photo of him. If this part is taken out of the lab, it is, again, from Monsterum, and they are in the description box. I might have to take it out. I don't know. That's my point. Why hasn't other similar crimes gotten the same public attention? It happens more than people realize or see in the news. Yeah, a lot of things. People who want a good scary story, I mean, I listen to them to go to sleep sometimes. I've seen quite a few cases regarding people unaliving another person over a game. There was just one regarding Call of Duty and Pokemon. That's ridiculous. People need to learn how to control their emotions. Goodness gracious.
In this photo, it appears that Slender Man also has tentacles. And almost overnight, Slender Man became an internet sensation. As his mythos evolved, some common traits emerged. Slender Man is described as noticeably taller than the average human, with an oddly proportioned body. He's very thin with long arms and legs, and in some accounts, he can sprout tentacles from his back. He wears a suit and has no facial features or hair, and his skin is unnaturally pale. Anyone who sees Slender Man is then stalked by him. So it becomes a sort of creepy loop. The more he is seen, the more commonly he appears.
So, do you guys remember, I suppose it was the movie The Ring, like, it reminds me of that, where, like, if you watch the movie, you have 7 days to live, and the more you watch, the more people saw it, the more people died. It's kind of like that. The more people that see Slender Man, the more people die. Yep, I mean, I'm telling you, he does remind me of Jack Skellington. Also, I think during the time this happened, it just happened to grab attention because of all the things that were happening around the trends and what people were doing with them. I do too. I can definitely see that. Morgan Geyser wanted to go live with Slender Man in the mansion forever. Creepypasta, Wikipasta, Slapam, all bad for children, just saying they made up Slender Man up from the Black Hat Stick Man, in my opinion. I've heard about the Black Hat Man too. He is most often seen in the woods. There's supposedly some mansion that you can go live with him forever or something.
So the fact that I'm making this video means I'm already doomed. What made Victor Surge's post stand out more than other submissions was that it was the first to create a narrative that accompanied the images. He posted the photos with the following text. One of 2 recovered photographs from the Sterling City Library blaze, notable for being taken the day which 14 children vanished, and for what is referred to as the Slender Man. Deformity cited as film defects by officials. Fire at library occurred 1 week later. Actual photograph confiscated as evidence. 1986, photographer Mary Thomas, missing since June 13, 1986. Slender Man was born from those words. The context crafted the myth.
I didn't know that it had all that context with it. That's interesting. But, I mean, this reiterates, don't believe everything you read online.
Something Awful users instantly latched on to the mysterious monster's story. The Slender Man post sparked enthusiastic comments, with many noting how it would make for a great TV show or a book. Others quickly jumped onto the Slender Man bandwagon by posting their own accounts of the creature. Within days, the thread became almost exclusively made up of real Slender Man legends. One notable post from a user with the screen name CE Gars mentions his own investigation into a film project that caused his friend to become increasingly disturbed. A few days later, the film project in question was uploaded to YouTube under the title Marble Hornets. It features a story inspired by Slender Man about a boogeyman figure capable of distorting audio and visual recordings, causing the film's creator to be driven insane. It turned out that CE Gars was Troy Wagner, who crafted the series with his friends. Marble Hornets became a huge part of the monster's mythos and was incredibly successful, totaling more than 90 found footage episodes.
That's really interesting. So maybe that's one we can check out at some point, or y'all can. I probably would get in trouble. Yeah, I agree with that too. I think Morgan made up the part, if you kill, you get to go live with him. Okay, I wasn't sure. Veronica said it's crazy to me kids would go do these actions just for some story. Something must be very wrong. Mentally, for starters, yeah. Stephanie said the Slender Man thing, though, didn't cause anyone but these two girls to do something horrible. Yeah. It's very popular, and they're the only ones who did something horrible about it.
Even helped inspire 2 Slender Man video games. Slender Man made his creepypasta debut on January 14, 2010. Creepypasta developed as a place to collect spooky stories. Users would copy and paste creepy texts from other websites such as 4chan.
Yep.
Some people argue that creepypasta and other web pages such as the No Sleep subreddit obscure the truth. They are veiled behind a faux authenticity. Fictional stories often accompanied by seemingly authentic images that are treated as real.
And that's part of the issue here. I read some of those things on Reddit, on 4chan and things like that. I mean, and I know they're fake, but the children thought they were real. Genevieve said there have been a lot of documented crimes under the influence of Harry Potter. We haven't heard about a lot of these crimes because media and courts intervene in child protection laws. Really? I didn't know that. I'm glad I didn't grow up with social media or the internet either. Girl, some of the things I would have posted, good God.
But as a scholar of the Gothic, I can tell you that treating mythical stories as actual accounts is nothing new at all. Some original Gothic novels were published and falsely advertised as translations of newly discovered manuscripts by real authors.
Yeah.
Or alongside claims that they were true accounts from some anonymous writer. But in reality, they were completely fabricated.
No way.
More recently, found footage horror films are another example of how the lines of fiction and truth are intentionally blurred. Victor Surge admits Slender Man was made up, an idea he crafted from all the things that scare him with a name he says he thought up on the fly. He does admit he used the tall man from the Phantasm films as the source material for the first Slender Man images. But by keeping the details vague, he allowed others to fill in the gaps of his creation with their own fears.
And that's what made it so popular. The gaps were vague, and you could fill it in with your own fears. That's what made it so popular. That's why it became popular, in my opinion.
Slender Man shares similarities to a lot of pre-existing characters. He's been compared to the Pied Piper, Buffy the Vampire Slayer's The Gentleman, the Silence from Doctor Who, the Men in Black, and Jack Skellington. Tales about him contain some elements of the Blair Witch Project and H.P. Lovecraft stories. There's even a pre-existing Japanese yokai that appears human but has no facial features, just like Slender Man. You may have heard that Slender Man sightings have been happening for hundreds of years. that he appears in old texts and art, from Germanic mythology to Canadian folklore.
Oh, wow.
Norse mythology and Egyptian hieroglyphics. It's enticing to think that we can discover a monster that's been secretly haunting us for years. That's a cool story, but none of that is true. He didn't exist before 2009. Take this image, for example. Some people claim this is an image of Slender Man dating back to the 16th century, but in reality, it's a photoshopped image based on existing prints from that time period.
Oh, wow.
The original comes from a series of Danse Macabre images meant to show that death is universal. This one? Another Photoshop of an image taken from the same artist. Similar to other monsters such as Wendigo and Tokolosh, Slender Man has been used as a scapegoat for deviant behavior.
That's a really important aspect of this. Kyo said, I got very lucky. Honestly, my son is 24 and never been in any trouble. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Photos are one thing I think can be a little spooky, but it's mostly been double exposures and with digital cameras, some glitch in the pixels. Yeah. I truly believe so. Normal kids don't think like this, even if they adore those characters. Yeah, I was gothic and adored Jack Skellington and things. I watched Slender Man, but I didn't ever think about going and doing it. I mean, you know, take it back to the 70s with Carrie, Chucky, all of the, you know, the Exorcist. People didn't go out and do that stuff.
In 2014, two girls attempted to murder their friend because they allegedly thought it would attract the attention of Slender Man. Such a dramatic and violent crime drew the attention of the media, and the once notorious internet monster became a familiar story offline as well, causing moral panic and fear. Slender Man's faceless features allow us to transcribe pretty much any of our fears onto him. He's uncanny. His human silhouette and common clothing make him familiar, but something is off. His dark suit is unsettling. There could be a couple of reasons why. It shows him polished and put together, and intentional in what he does. He is self-aware, patiently waiting and watching his victims. There's also the association of black suits with death, something we commonly see at funerals. And then there's the idea that the suit symbolizes power and authority. It's anonymous and timeless. The idea that Slender Man specifically targets children feeds into our fear that there are evil strangers ready to kidnap our kids.
That's very true. Like, all of these things combined into one just made the perfect storm. I do. I love stories like that too, about kids that are good kids that are now productive adults. The Canterbury Tales got me hooked on the macabre, true crimes, and then there was my interest in serial crimes and criminal profiling. I was hooked. Yep.
Slender Man's the new version of Don't Take Candy from a Stranger, a lesson that keeps kids safe by instilling a healthy wariness for adults they don't know. Slender Man is always watching you, even if you don't know it. This parallels our more legitimate fears of being constantly watched by cameras and other technologies that monitor our day-to-day actions. Heck, even the internet where Slender Man was first created constantly logs so much of what we do. Slender Man takes the fear of something that seems abstract, like a story on the internet, to something more concrete, like a man outside your window at night. Slender Man could have been nothing more than a scary, made-up story. But when people misread it, treat it as real, the lines between what is authentic and what is false blur to dangerous levels. Technology allows anyone to make fake things appear real. Photoshopped images, computer-edited video footage, and falsified documents can spread quickly and are seen as legitimate, and anyone can contribute.
I want to go into that real quick. So we got the idea of Slender Man. I wonder if I can find it. There was this story that I found really interesting. Let me see if I can pull it up. This dude does it with pictures that are pretty cool. No, not that. Let's see if it'll pull it up that way. I probably won't be able to find it. I'm going to try to search on Google real quick. Hold on just a minute, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to pull it up this way. They're not real, though. Well, I can't find that. I'll work on finding it, though, while we are gone. Until then, I'll show you this. It's kind of creepy. Can y'all see my... Okay. Check this out. This kind of goes more into the pictures that people can make that aren't real, but they look real. Those things always creep me out. Show you another one. Wow, it's not good without the music.
The most terrifying bird sounds in the world. Part 2. Capuchin.
Oh, that's not it. But yeah, that's like going back into like what, Lord have mercy, what people create.
As the day breaks,
No.
the serene Siberian...
Yeah, that's another one. I'm gonna find that other one too that the dude has in where he talks about, I forget what the name, what is the name of, like, it's like the underworld in Antarctica, but it's not the underworld. It's like a place that's just like Earth, but it's underground, and there's like sunlight and trees and things down there. I thought it was called Agartha, but anyway, I'm gonna go for the day because that's video editing. Grish knows how to do that. See, that's what I want to know how to do. I would love to know how to do that stuff. Yeah, I found them creepy, but interesting nonetheless. If those videos were not on the live, I will try to link them in the description. I might have to take them out so I don't get in trouble. With that, I'm going to go for the day. I do plan on doing a live about Steppen, and we are going to continue to go through the videos from the Victoria Martins case. I am going to drop another one today. And so, yeah, be on the lookout for that. Abraham said, but I think with Slender Man, the fact that he was a man is what makes it even more scary, because it could be anyone. Those creatures don't exist. No, they don't exist. Thank y'all for being here. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much for your love and support. I love y'all so much. I love our speculating family. Thank you for being here. I hope you all have a good day. Basil is good. He's not in here today. I think he's under the table where the air condition is. I hope you all have a great day. If nobody has told you, you are important, you are special, and you are loved, and I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye.
Listen up, I gotta tell you.
to the mountains.